So, welcome everybody to Midweek Mindfulness. I hope uh, this finds you in a place of opportunity to be centered and to be connected. Actually, what I was thinking about, just thinking about today together as we think about being mindful, and we're thinking about or feeling and thinking about our mindfulness, and we identify um, with a whole range of different identities. Um, Sometimes we're white, we're black, we're brown, we're male, we're female. We may be Republican or Democrat. We may be an educator. You might be an employee, a boss, a supervisor, a sister, a brother, a parent, right? You may be a Christian, a Buddhist. We have all these different identities and these ways of understanding ourselves. Um, and in mindfulness, one of our practices is recognizing our interconnectivity to all things, right? Which is the true nature of who we are, right? So um, when you think about, just from a scientific perspective, that our bodies are a part of the environment that you know lives on the surface of the planet. So we literally are biologically an expression of the planet, right? We're made up of plants and animals and millions and billions of years of things breaking down and being reborn, right? And that includes stars. So, in the words of Carl Sagan, we are all stardust. Um, and so, when we're thinking about um, the different things that really activate us, right, our minds and our feelings, again, sometimes those can be really overwhelming things, and we want to be able to manage ourselves in a way that allows us to honor, right, those identities, and to be able to experience them as fully as possible, right? Um, Part of the challenge that arises with this understanding that we have is that those things also create separation, right? So if I'm a Christian, I feel separated from Buddhists and Hindus and Muslims and all of the other people who follow a different faith or are part of a different faith expression, right? Jews and um, uh, Zoroastrians. So there's all of these different, like this kind of beautiful eclectic expression of humanity. And when we define ourselves male, female, right, on the binary, we are creating separation. And I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not the whole picture, right? It's a way to understand ourselves. It's a way to be able to manage ourselves, right? So that we're honoring these parts of ourselves that are so beautiful and so important. But it's only part of the story of who we are, right? Another part of us is a part of all things, right? It's a part of all living beings on the planet. We're all a part of this one big system. And the more we meditate and the more we really become mindful and aware, it's easier and easier over time to really feel those connections, right? The more we honor our ability to feel our feelings and to honor the feelings of others around us in a way that's non-judgmental, we don't get caught up in the separation as much, right? We don't hear separation, we hear difference, we hear variety. um, we feel sometimes even the connectivity that comes. So, whether it's a religious perspective where we're identifying as people of faith, right, or whether it's a political perspective where we're identifying as people of a particular nation, that may have different needs and desires. Um, uh, Based on their political kind of attitude or their connections, we're still a part of that whole system, right? Which is kind of the beauty of it. It's one of the beautiful parts of this. There's a Native American or Ameren saying that says left wing, right wing, both wings on the same bird, right? So we're all part of the same bird. We're all part of the same nation, part of the same species, part of the same expression of life on the planet. And mindfulness and really being present and aware and practicing our non-judgment, because judgment creates separation, right? Which sometimes is extremely helpful and totally appropriate and very beneficial, right? Especially for like keeping our bodies alive, setting healthy boundaries with other people around us. I don't want to diminish that in any way, but I want to expand, like as all things, right? We hold a multitude of things in our awareness. So yes, I hold this identity of myself in this way in my awareness, but I also hold the larger identity that I hold so that I am able to function in that larger capacity, as well as in the smaller capacity where, I'm more individualized. And that's one of those really kind of beautiful things that we find, regardless of your religious expression or your non religious expression. Um, in even in the scientific realm, there is a harmony that exists on the planet. We call it nature, but there are systems within that we as humans are able to recognize. And the more we flow with those systems, the healthier it is for us as well as for everything else around us. So this is just an opportunity to be mindful of those things and to start to connect, number one, to the multitude of different identities we have, but then, allowing those to open up, right, and feel the completeness of ourselves, um, in a very holistic way, in a very realistic way, to all of life around us. You think about, the fact that all of our bodies at the cellular level are made up of energy, right? Everything is made up of energy. It's all about energy, regardless of how you feel about string theory or quantum theory or core. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's all this energy that's flowing through the universe, and we're very distinctly a part of that. And when we're able to tap into that and connect to that, there's there's this understanding that all the religions tend to be proponents of, as well as the scientific community, right? Einstein and Oppenheimer and the nuclear physicists, they really connect with this idea that, at the foundational level of our physical experience, we are absolutely intimately a part of our community of life on the planet, just as your toenails are a part of your body, right? They are unique and they're individual, but they're also completely a part of you, right? They're a part of the whole. They're a whole within a whole. So there's something beautiful about all the different levels of that wholeness. And so in mindfulness, when we're thinking about how do we manage ourselves in a way that you can be non-judgmental, especially for things that are really, really important to you personally, um, broadening our awareness and holding not just the broad awareness, but not just the small identity as well, but holding all of it, right? Building that cup of mindfulness so that we can hold all the different aspects of who we are, allows us to bring a lot more non-judgment to the table, um, or to the experience of life that we're having, to our engagement with the people and the beings and the other, um, members of this beautiful community of life around us. And it's a beautiful thing. You can see how some people could get to that place where, like the Jains, honor every living being. They only eat fruit that's fallen from the tree, and even when they build a house, they like sift the soil to make sure that no insects are harmed with the building, of their homes. Like it's very, very important to them. And we may not find ourselves in that particular category of honoring that connectivity, but taking note of where we are on that scale, right? And embracing it as broadly as we're comfortable with, and that seems appropriate to us. And allowing ourselves, in the words of Walt Whitman, um, sometimes we contradict ourselves, right? Because there are a multitude of different identities that we hold, and sometimes they come into conflict, and that's a normal thing, right? That's all part of what we deal with on a daily basis and the inner conflicts that arise within us. Um, but practicing, embracing that larger holistic self will help us manage those more carefully. So I thought that would be a great focus for our meditation today. So go ahead and get into your meditation position. Um, let your head balance on top of your spine. If sitting erect is comfortable for you, right? Let your spine be nice and tall. Let your hands rest in your lap or on your knees, whatever feels appropriate. But c- just go ahead and begin to connect to your body and connect to your breath as I invite the bell to get us started. Let's go ahead and begin with a few nice, gentle, but full deep breaths into the nose, if you're able to do that. And a nice, long, slow, gentle release back out. Really extending that out breath and allowing the body just to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and just allow our bodies to relax and to connect. Beginning to notice the connection between the breath and the body. Maybe really sharpening the awareness on the in breath of feeling that cool air as it enters the nostrils. Really feeling the expansion of the diaphragm in the lungs, and then really noticing the relaxation, really connecting to our bodies on that out breath and feeling our bodies. Of course, as your mind begins to manage the thoughts that naturally arise, just notice the thoughts. Notice what your mind deems important in this moment. And then gently release it on the out breath and come back to the body, back to the breath. Again, not to diminish the aspect and the purpose of the mind, but to grow this other aspect of ourselves, this observing mind, not the thinking mind. if your mind seems a little out of control, maybe use the words breathing in on the in breath and breathing out on the out breath. And noticing any feelings you have about that. It's perfectly normal for the mind to race. It is the job of the mind. So see if we can practice some non-judgment within ourselves. And gently allowing your breath just to come back to where your body has control of it. Releasing any conscious control if that feels comfortable to you. And just really noticing what your body deems as important to breathe in this moment. See if you can notice the breath in its entirety from the beginning of the movement into the nostrils as the lungs expand. Feeling that peak of the breath, and then it turns and begins to become an out breath all the way back out. Noticing when the lungs are empty and it turns to become an in breath again. Just really feeling the continuity and the continuousness of the breath. As you breathe, see if you can honor whatever comes up in the moment, whether the thoughts or the feelings or the physical sensations in your body. Remembering that each breath is us being nurtured by the earth and the environment that we're a part of. And every out breath is us nurturing that environment, helping to sustain it. And if your mind has gone on a little journey, that's okay. Just take note of whatever it found to be important and gently guide it back to the breath and the body. And go ahead and begin to just gently deepen your breathing a little, connecting to our bodies, noticing the pressure of your body against the chair, the pillow, the bed. Allowing your awareness to expand again out to the room, feeling and noticing the sensations as we gently begin to bring our meditation to an end. Mhm. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Maybe having a nice stretch. But thank you everyone for being here today. Again, a deep gratitude for all of you and your practices and your coming together in community. So take good care. Have a wonderful week.